So you're saying he did what?
Ball tap. He ball tapped me. You know, like scoops. Like if you're drawing water with your hands.
And you're saying that hurts?
Yeah, of course. That's the jewel for us guys. Man, women will never understand. The jewels, man, the jewels. I guess it's just one of those things. Like how I'll never know what it's like to push a child out of
Or like how you'll never understand what it's like getting paid less for doing the same amount of work?
Huh?
Or how you'll never understand what it's like to be oppressed.
Whoa, chill. I was just saying that I got tapped.
Or to be undervalued.
Okay, relax. I was just talking about how I got mugged by some dude. Sheesh.
So you're saying my points are invalid?
Day after day, seems like I push against the clouds.
Hey, thanks for watching the debut episode of The Exchange's Matchat, where I drink matcha and chat with one of our guests on a certain topic, showcasing their perspective on certain issues in which they feel strongly about. We're spilling all kinds of tea today, sis. What's up, Thomas?
What's up, Christian?
Alright, so here we have Thomas Elder. He's going to be talking about feminism, specifically the wage gap myth. So Thomas, do you mind if you give us a quick breakdown of your political beliefs, how they came to be?
Yeah. So I'd like to consider myself a moderate conservative. I'm not super conservative. I'm good friends with Daniel Shin, and he's taught me a lot about what I know. But I do my own research too because I can't trust him.
Yeah, I thought it was very disingenuous of you to say that Trump was. Oh shit.
And I feel like a lot of the world today leans left, but I think a lot of things go overlooked, and we just believe a lot of what the left tells us. And I think it's important to address one of the most important things today, which is feminism. And feminism is just it's all over the world. You see feminism all over the world, and in some places it's very good, but in other places, particularly in America, I think the effects can be very harmful, which is what I'm here to talk about today.
Alright. So specifically, you are interested in discussing the wage gap, correct?
Yes.
So what are your general overviews for the wage gap? What do you believe in?
Okay, so many feminists will argue that there's a wage gap, and they like to argue that for every dollar a man gets paid, a woman will get paid 77 cents for the same job. It differs, but for the most part, they resort to 77 cents. And this is true if you simply divide how much a man makes by how much a woman makes. But that doesn't necessarily tell the whole story. So the wage gap is actually a myth created by the feminists, and the way it works is that, yes, there is a wage gap, but it can be explained, and it is in no way sexist. So the wage gap, it basically, the reason why women get paid less is because they're more attracted to lower paying jobs, and these are jobs like teachers. Elementary school teachers are for the most part women, and that's just a fact. Jobs like therapists or like just like social service jobs are just things that women are like more biologically naturally attracted to, and those jobs don't pay as much as, say, being an engineer or a doctor or just like a scientist, or like things that men are more naturally geared towards, and those jobs pay better, which is why you get a wage gap where men are seemingly being paid more than women, when in reality it's just a matter of choice. So there's no actual sexism involved in this wage gap.
So do you believe it's more of a social issue where men and women are driven to do different things or expected to do different things?
I think men and women are not... the feminists encourage women to go to these male jobs. They encourage women, especially this is very true on college campuses, where they will push female students to go into career paths such as being a doctor or a lawyer or a surgeon or stuff like that. But in reality, this actually gets rid of a woman's choice because, and I'm about to go very general here, but for the most part, men are more likely to go towards careers, women are more likely to go towards being mothers. Now, obviously, there are lots and lots of women who want to go into careers, and that's completely fine. They're completely allowed to do that. That's the greatness of the free market. But there are some women, probably most women, I would say, who would prefer to be homemakers. You know, they would prefer to be mothers and wives. And what feminists do is they teach women that that is not okay. You are not allowed to do that. You must be like a man. You know, we need to get rid of this whole traditional gender thing, and that's fine to an extent. You know, you can obviously. I think if a woman wants to do a man's job, go for it. If a man wants to do a woman's job, go for it. But we need to accept the basis that is men want to do jobs, women are less likely to do that.
I see. And now some feminists would suggest that women do tend to be at a disadvantage when it comes to getting manager positions or higher level positions, such as in many lists of top billionaires and company owners, they are predominantly male. So would you apply the same logic in that, or would you say something different?
Yeah, I think it's the same thing. I think if a woman did want to do that, they are just as capable of a man as doing that. But coming to that high position requires working very long hours, requires working overtime all the time, being very knowledgeable on the subject, and men are just biologically a lot more like dedicated to like money making and stuff like that, which is why it's almost always a male who will like achieve that position. I think if a female did have all those things, then they could easily get that position.
I see. So we did talk about the concept of feminism and how it pushes certain ideologies in today's world. Do you believe that feminism pushes different ideologies today than it has in previous history?
Definitely. And this is I think this is a lot of what feminists today don't understand. They think that just because I'm not a feminist, I am therefore a misogynist. Now that's not true. I believe in equal rights. Now I'd like to make a major difference. Like there's a fine, not a fine line, a very clear line between 20th century and before feminism and current modern day feminism. 20th century feminism in like the progressive era, the 1910s, stuff like that, was a very, very good thing. Because back then, women were oppressed. They were forced into the homes and they got paid less when they did work, and there was a very traditional way of doing things. And feminists back then fought for that. And they fought to get rid of that, and they fought for equality, and that was a very good thing that made our country a lot better. And it ended in the 19th Amendment, which gave the women the right to vote, and later on in the 1960s, the Equal Civil Rights Act, I think it was called, 1964, which gave equal opportunity to all citizens, no segregation, all that. So the feminist movement in the 20th century was a very, very good thing, but I think the feminist movement in the 21st century is a very, very different thing. Modern day feminism, especially with the Me Too movement, involves degrading men and then degrading women, and then using this whole wage gap myth to build political power, and I think it's very harmful to both men and women.
I see. So, with the time remaining, do you have anything else you'd like to address about this issue?
I really wish, especially on college campuses, that we need to stop pushing women, because when you create this myth that a woman needs, they need to do these things that a man does. They need to go be a surgeon. They need to go be a lawyer. That gets rid of a woman's choice. I believe the women have a choice. If you want to be a mother, do that. If you want to go build a career and become an entrepreneur and be the CEO of a company, go do that. And there's a big, gray zone in between. You're welcome to do any of that. But feminists today seem to be pushing women towards having a career, whereas I think a lot of women would be happier in the home. Obviously not all of them, but I think it's important to remember that feminists are actually taking away women's choice under this facade of we're giving you the choice. Because if there were studies done in universities where they asked women what they wanted to do with their life. And those women that said that they wanted to be mothers and wives were attacked. They were just attacked. They were like, oh, wow, you're a misogynist. and you're not a true woman, and you're what's wrong with the society. And in a society where we honestly, we could use more mothers, we could use more people willing to take care and raise children for a new generation, I think that's very, very detrimental.
Well, thank you very much for showcasing your opinion today.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for watching.